हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण रेवती माता जी नमः प्रणाम। Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna to all of you. Please accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. I invite you for the early morning short Bhagavatam class organized by ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Kulai, Mangaluru. I indeed invite you for and on behalf of His Grace, Sri Ramanista Das Prabhuji. We begin with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmuritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Picharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Desha Tarine Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadavayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Sri Guru Sri Uttapata Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavasya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagar Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitasya हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा टू एवरीवन ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo
भगवते
Vasudevaya.
वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ
Om
नमो
Namo
भगवते वासुदेवाय
Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ
Om
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्
नारायणं
हरं
नमस्कृत्य
नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव
नरोत्तमं
नरोत्तमम्
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये
देवीं
देवीं
सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं ततो
व्यासं ततो
जयमुदीरये
जयमुदीरयेत्
शृणतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
चिन्नतां स्वकथां
स्वरां
कृष्णा
कृष्णं
पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
श्रवणकीर्तनः
हृदयन्तस्तु यभद्राणि विदुनोति सुरस्तताम्
हृद्यन्तस्तोयभद्राणि
राणि
विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम्
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं
भागवत
भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
नैष्टिकी
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी
नित्यं भागवत सेवया daily recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, study of Srimad Bhagavatam and understanding Srimad Bhagavatam removes all the inauspicious things from our lives, and worship of Uttama Sloka, Lord Sri Krishna, gives us Naistiki Bhakti. Canto number 6, Prescribed Duties for Humankind. Chapter number 3, Yamduta instructs, Yamraja instructs Yamdutas. Verse number 25. Those who want to recite the verse may raise their hand. Venkata Narsiya Das Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prayena Veda Vedaditam Namahajanayam Divya Vimohita Matirbhata Mayayalam Trayam Dadi Kruta Matir Madhu Pushpitayam Vaitanike Mahati Karmane Yusyamanaha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. Chitra Mohini Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय प्रायेण वेदा तदिदं न महाजनोऽयं दैवा विमोहितं मतिर्भतमाययालया त्रयां जडीकृतं मधुपुष्टितायां वैतानिके महती कर्मणि युज्यमानः हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी थैंक यू प्रभु जी
Thank you. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय प्रायेण वेदा तदिदं न महाजनोऽयं देव्या विमोहिता मतिवर्त माययालं त्रय्यां जडीकृत मतिमधु पुष्पितायां वैतानिके महति कर्मणि युज्यमानः थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण
Thank you. Usha Dayavati Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय प्रयाण वेदा तत्तिदं न महाजना अयं देव्यै विमोहितमतिवता माययालं त्रयां जातिकृत मतिं मधु पुष्पितायं वैतानिक महती कर्मणि युज्यमानः थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे
Thank you. Prakash Rao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम
Dhanvat Pranam Prabhuji.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय प्रायेण वेदा तदितं नमः जयोम देव्या विमोहितमतिभत माययालं त्रय्यां जडीकृतम् अति मधुपुष्पितायां वैतानिके महति कर्माणि यजमानः हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी
Thank you. Prakash Rao Prabhuji, you are a co-host as well. Vijay Lakshmi, Vijaya Kumari Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणव प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय प्रायेण वेद दत्तिदं नमः जनो अयं देव्या विमोहित मदिर्पद माययालं त्रय्यां जडीकृत मदिर्मधु पुष्पिदायं वैदानिके महति कर्मणि युज्यमानः. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Pushpa Yasomati Devi. Hey Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranams Prabhuji. प्रयाणवेदा तदिदं महाजनोऽयं देव्य विमोहित मदिर्बता माययालं त्रयां जदीकृत मधुपुष्पितयं वैदानिकमहति कर्मणि युज्यं मनः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी. थैंक यू प्रभुजी.
Thank you. Revati Ratnangi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. प्रयाण वेदे तदिदं न महाजनम अयम देव्यां विमोहितमदिपर्वत मायायालं त्रियायां जटिकृतमदिभ्रम दुषा पुष्पितायां वैतानिके महति कर्माणि युज्यमानः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you. Uttama Padma Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. प्रायेण वेदाततिदं नमो जनो अयं देव्या विमोहिता मतिर्गता मायायालं त्रय्यं जडीकृता मतिर्मधुपुष्पितायां वैथानिकी महति कर्मणि यज्यमानाः.
Thank you, Mataji. That was done very well. Uttama Padma Devi Dasi ji, can you read synonyms for us?
Yes प्रभु जी. Yes प्रभु जी.
Give me a minute. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Synonyms. Prayena, almost always. Veda, no. Tat, that. Idam, this. Na, not. Mahajanam, great personalities besides Swayambhu, Shambhu and the other 10. I am this. Devya, by the energy of the supreme personality of Godhead. Vimohita Mati, whose intelligence is bewildered. Bata, indeed. Mayaya, by the illusory energy. Alam, greatly. Trayam, in the 3 Vedas. Tadikrita Mati, whose intelligence has been dull. Madhu Pushpitayam, in the flowery Vedic language describing the results of ritualistic performances. Vaitanike, in the performances mentioned in the Vedas. Mahati, very great. Karmani, fruitive activities. Yujyamana, being engaged. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Uttama Padma Devi Dasi ji. Thanks for wonderful help. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yajnavalkya and Jaimini and other compilers of the religious principal scriptures cannot know the secret, confidential religious system of the 12 Mahajanas. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service, of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Because their minds are attracted to the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, especially the Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Rigveda, their intelligence has become dull. Thus, they are busy collecting the ingredients for the ritualistic ceremonies that yield only temporary benefits, such as elevation to Swargaloka for material happiness. They are not attracted to the Sankirtana movement. Instead, they are interested in Dharma, Arth, Kama, and Moksha. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Since one may easily achieve the highest success by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one may ask why there are so many Vedic ritualistic ceremonies and why people are attracted to them. These verse answers that question. As stated in in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Veda is surveyed aham eva vidya. The real purpose of studying the Vedas is to approach the lotus feet of the Lord. Unfortunately, unintelligent people bewildered by the grandeur of Vedic yagna wants to see gorgeous sacrifices performed. They want Vedic mantras chanted and huge amount of money spent for such ceremonies. Sometimes we have to observe the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies to please such unintelligent men. Recently, when we established a large Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan, we were obliged to have Vedic ceremonies enacted by Brahmanas because the inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially the Smarta Brahmanas, would not accept Europeans and Americans as bona fide Brahmanas. Thus, we had to engage Brahmanas to perform costly yagnas. In spite of these yagnas, the members of our society performed some kirtana loudly with mrudangas, and I considered the Samkirtana more important than the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Both the ceremonies and Samkirtanas were going on simultaneously. The ceremonies were meant for persons interested in Vedic rituals for elevation to heavenly planets. Whereas the Samkirtana was meant for pure devotees interested in pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We would simply have performed some Kirtana, but then the inhabitants of Vrindavan would not have taken the installation ceremony seriously. As explained here, the Vedic performances are meant for those whose intelligence has been dulled by the flowery language of Vedas, which describe fruitive activities intended to elevate one to the highest planets. Especially in the age of Kali, some kirtana alone is sufficient. If the members of our temple are in different parts of the world, simply continue some kirtana before the deity, especially before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They will remain perfect. There is no need of any other performances. Nevertheless, to keep oneself clean in habit and mind, deity worship and other regulative principles are required. Srila Jiva Goswami says that although Samkirtana is sufficient for the perfection of life, the archana or worship of the deity in the temple must continue in order that the devotees may stay clean and pure. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore recommended that one follow both the processes simultaneously. We strictly follow this principle of performing deity worship and Samkirtana along parallel lines. This we should continue. Yesterday we learned about chanting and spent the whole sloka on the potency of chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Today we are comparing the Samkirtana, which is another part. Chanting is mainly personal, and chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, whereas some kirtanas do include along with chanting mantra with all the devotees together, also involves singing other songs of Vaishnavas. These Samkirtana movement and the potency of the Samkirtana movement is here compared with Vedic ceremonies for various rituals and yajnas. As you know, most of the Vedas that we have been studying have one or the other form of yajnas and ritualistic ceremonies. But the Vedas that we are studying is only a small part of it. The Vedas are very huge and almost unlimited. But this portion has been in vogue for quite some time, and the portion is very lively and lovely looking, as Srila Prabhupada explains, with flowery language. Something that is flowery is always very attractive, especially to a lower intelligent man. People who do not want to involve their intelligence, their mind, and their heart into a great length, it's very convenient for them to just sit down for the ritualistic ceremonies and let someone else perform the whole vidhis. These, unfortunately, are all the ritualistic activities and ceremonies. In one word, we call it karma kanda. And all the karma kandas are for the material benefits. It does produce some kind of a piety, does have some portion of punya coming along with it, and that ends up into better fruits of all the activities that you perform, and you are awarded with better benefits. But all these benefits are in the form of comfort to the body. The body is considered as a center. You are identified as a body, and the body gets the credits and so gets the comforts. It doesn't have anything to do with the soul, and since it doesn't have anything to do with the souls, the spiritual aspect is neglected. Thus, Srila Prabhupada is extensively bashing here the pattern of performing these duties only, getting attracted by their composition and flowery language, and do it with a dull mind without real great involvement. But the results that you get are again Dharma, Arth, Kama, Moksha. The highest is going to the Swarga Loka, staying there until your credit card is over. And once the credit card is over, the credits are gone. You go back, work hard in the office, collect money, put it in the bank, and then the credits start showing. For that, you got to come back to the earth, come back to the material manifestation, and accept the physical body or a material body and live a life. Srila Prabhupada extensively explains that instead of all these karma kanda activities, Samkirtana is very good. If one is doing Samkirtana, he doesn't need to do all the ritualistic activities, and he still is very, very well covered by Lord Krishna himself. Srila Prabhupada further explains that if you do only Samkirtana, that is good enough for you and all the devotees kept safe, happy, and progressing well in the spiritual path. You don't need any kind of material yagnas and material ceremonies where you spend a lot of money, and ultimately that money is only for a physical benefit for few years, something that ends. However, Srila Prabhupada further explains in this verse, in the purport, that Jiva Goswami, our acharyas, one of the very leading acharyas, has explained that to keep oneself clean and pure, clean because if you are doing a temple service, deity worships, you automatically would clean yourself and you will not present yourself dirty, so you will keep yourself clean. And as you do deity worship, you do get yourself purity and the purification of your heart. So for the devotees to keep themselves clean and pure, the deity worships in the temple are essential. This is one of the reasons why Sri Bhaktivedanta Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Swami says that we must do both the procedures simultaneously, deity worship and Samkirtana. If we do these two things, we don't need anything else. In short, now this chapter, after completing the glorification, potency, characteristics, and the advantages of chanting Mahamantra Hare Krishna, now slipping into some Kirtana and other processes of pure devotion. We are beginning with the Samkirtana, and this verse talks completely outnumbering and outperforming the ritualistic ceremonies and yagnas or karmakandas. So chanting Samkirtana, these are some of the things which are the best for the age of Kali. And that's why the Vedic ceremonies, ritualistic ceremonies, and all other karmakandas are not recommended anymore. However, Srila Prabhupada explained in detail that while installing the deities in the Krishna Balaram temple of Vrindavan, they had to perform the Vedic ceremonies, very pretty expensive and dear, but had to do it to satisfy the smarta brahmanas who are very rigid in their thinking. And their thinking is like the modern thinking of some of our leaders. Either you are with us or you are against us. They do not understand that there is something in between. You are not with, you are not against, but you are there. This is unfortunately the folly of the present Kali Yuga, and that's why Srila Prabhupada explains that both Samkirtana with Mridanga were done prominently at the same time with a lot of expenses. The Vedic rituals were also performed, and the ceremony was done. So there are some compulsions that comes along in Krishna movement where you have to follow some of the rituals. If you don't follow that, they would always have the final card of our European or American devotees not to allow them to enter as brahmanas. Any question, any doubts, any addition, any queries? Otherwise, I thought we'll spend 5-7 minutes into Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, where Mataji left, and we'll take away that part. Shall I continue with the Chintamani for 5 minutes? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Like
Yes.
Prabhupada has told, we have to do some ritualistic ceremonies, right? In the same way, when you are a household, you have to do some of the activities which might not be important for Krishna consciousness, but they are important for your family as a whole, right?
Yes. That's very true, because you may have a strong belief and you may be a very Krishna conscious person, but remember that in a house the family lives. And so each and every member also have a right of adjusting their mood and their thinking. And most of the people who are not in a conscious movement or not in any particular spiritual faith strongly always believes in some or the other kind of the religious ceremony to establish auspiciousness in the house, and for that purpose we must do it and should never object it. I entirely agree with you. We must do it with a positive mind and ideas and help them also receive their method and their way of auspiciousness, so that they do not feel that the house that they are living in has not been sermonized. Does that make sense, Mataji?
Yes, very well, Prabhuji. I have seen our Kharghar temple recently inaugurated by our Prime Minister Modi ji. There also we performed all the yagnas, everything before installing. But at the same moment of time, we were having Sankirtana for continuously for 15 days. So that means both the things are going on simultaneously. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Take a small part of Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, Chapter 2, Eligibility for Devotion, Part 1. What is Shraddha? Shraddha is a first sprout from the seed of the creeper of pure devotion. It is original, internal, pure faith of the living entity that impels to engage in eternal loving service to the Lord. Pure faith alone qualifies for the conditioned souls to enter into the devotional service. So pure faith is very, very important. And as we go further, we'll know about the semblance of the faith and pure faith. But pure faith and pure devotional service is something that we all are aiming at. It begins to sprout when the results of unwitting devotional act, that is what we learned as Agnat Sukruti. You've done something you don't remember, and that good thing that has been done is known as Agnat Sukruti of innocent soul. When they accumulate for the interest of the Lord. And that leads Jiva to saintly persons. And the lasting behavior of the good behavior and teaching of the saintly person always impresses a person who has the Agnat Sukruti, and that leads to contemplation of his impression. When he sits down later on, he contemplates all the teachings and the behavior of a saintly person that he recently met. And that increases the trust in the Vaishnavas, and that increased trust is fortified by the super soul of his heart into a faith in the Vaishnava, and that commits him or makes a commitment for the truth. And this is where there is awakening of the firm commitment for the truth. And this is the faith or the first sprout of the Bhakti Lata Bij. In our Gaudiya principle, Gaudiya Vaishnava principle, we accept the sadhana or faith as sadhana is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. So the faith that we are talking about, the first sprout of the Bhakti Bij, is a faith and trust in Lord that if we do a pure, loving, devotional service to the Lord will cover all other areas of our life and we'll be happy. It further goes into five characteristics of the pure faith. The first characteristic is the mood of exclusive dedication and complete dependence on the Krishna or on the Lord starts developing. Number two, because the faith is born of transcendental knowledge, it is directly and systematically perceivable. So whatever faith that you are developing, you can feel it yourself and perceive it physically. Third, fourth, and fifth characteristics are simple. Faith develops in the scriptures. Distinctive taste develops for the devotion, and increasing strength to practice devotional service. These are the 5 characteristics that develop, and thus it leads Madhyama Adhikari to become Shraddhavan or Madhyama Bhagavata and continue preaching. So this is about the faith or Shraddha definition. This is how it sprouts out. I told you about contact with the saintly person, and then what happens to the person who is having the Bhaktilta Bish. We'll go further with Mataji tomorrow. And it has 5 characteristics, as we learn. These 5 characteristics of the faith are very important. If you remember that today, that's good enough. Any
Hare
question?
Krishna Prabhuji. It's like which one is the fourth one, Prabhuji? After scriptures, like.
Yeah, first, faith in the scripture, then a distinct taste for devotion. A taste develops for devotion.
Okay. Thank you,
And
Prabhuji.
then there is an increasing strength to practice the devotional service. Any questions? Any doubts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam. Prabhuji.
Yes, mother.
Once more 5 characteristics, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. The first characteristic is the mood of exclusive dedication and complete dependence on the Lord Krishna. The faith begins in this direction. You don't develop both these things, but it begins in this direction. You start having thinking of this line. Number 2, faith is born of transcendental knowledge. It is directly and systematically perceivable. Physically, you can perceive it. Third, I say faith in the scripture. And fourth is the distinctive taste for devotion. And fifth is increasing strength to practice devotional service.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. If there are no questions, the time is up. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya krupa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you very much for attending the class. We really appreciate it, and all of you have a wonderful Krishna conscious day.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Dhanyavad.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna to every Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
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 Krishna. Krishna.